Hey everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be talking about all the makeup I managed to finish in 2025 and talk about my plans, my panning plans for 2026. If you're new to my channel, you may not be aware that originally my entire channel pretty much was centered around panning, project panning. A few years ago, the majority of my makeup was all like miniature makeup. I had a lot of stuff from Ipsy and panning was very satisfying. I went through product like crazy. Now, however, I've used up all my minis. It takes me much longer to finish anything, and I found that just focusing on panning content was kind of sucking at my joy. However, I still have that mindset for certain products. So I do have some makeup empties from last year, and I do have some things I want to finish this year. So starting with base products, even though sunscreen is technically a skincare product, I tend to wear it as a primer. So I only had one sunscreen empty last year, which is actually kind of wild, but it's because this one, it was so big. It took me all year to finish it. It's 5 fluid ounces. But this is from La Roche-Posay. This is the Amphelios Water Lotion Sunscreen. This is the second one of these that I have finished, and I still really like it. And as far as using it as a primer, it's quite glowy. It's gonna look like you added a glowy primer underneath. Typically, however, I finish about 2 or 3 sunscreens per year. So just finishing one, kind of a bummer, but it makes sense since it was such a big one. I'm very happy that I finished a primer last year. I don't always finish a primer for a year. I'm very, very slow with the primers since I'm usually just using sunscreen. But this one is from First Aid Beauty. This is the Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. And this is another big one. It's 1.7 ounces. I'm really, really happy to have this finished. Okay, moving on into more actual makeup, I feel. I finished one concealer, and this is the Kosas concealer. I'm very, very pleased to have finished this. This is the second one I finished, and this is one of those products that when I have it in my collection, I'm always thinking about it possibly going bad. Since it is like a clean beauty brand, their products do tend to go bad faster. That's just the way it is if they're not going to have the preservatives in them. And since it does give me a little bit of stress of a product like this in my collection, last time I finished one, I said I wasn't going to buy it again. Well, I have it again, and I loved it so much that I'm probably going to end up getting it again eventually. I'm gonna make myself finish one more concealer though before I get this again, and I think that will help just bring the stress down a little bit, just to have just a few concealers in my collection and just have a favorite that I can use, because it really is a favorite. But again, very satisfying to finish a concealer. My goal for foundations is to finish 2 per year, and this past year I finished 3. And I was able to do that because, first of all, one was a mini. I finished off a mini of the Bare Minerals. This is the Complexion Rescue. I wear the shade Opal 01. I do tend to focus on my foundations that have sunscreen in them, especially if they don't have an actual expiration date on them, like this one didn't. Even though it's a mini, it is 0.5 of an ounce. So it's half the size of the full size. So it actually took me a little longer to finish than you would expect, or that I expected, but very happy to have that finished. I loved it, by the way. I also finished off one of my sneaky balms from Salt New York. Salt New York, if you're one of those people who really likes to finish your creams quickly, just because you don't like the idea of them growing bacteria, Salt New York is actually a really good brand for that. I think they're only, am I correct in saying they're 4 grams? They're not very big. And since they have such minimal packaging, they're quite cost effective as well. You're not gonna spend a ton of money. So anyway, I was able to finish one of these off. Very nice. I already have a backup open. And I finished off my Believe Beauty foundation. So sad, because it's a discontinued. But it was pretty old, so I needed to do it. Interestingly, this wasn't even 1 full ounce. It's 0.85 fluid ounce. I'm actually surprised. I didn't realize that. So that's why I was able to finish 3 foundations the past year. All 3 of these were not big products. I finished 1 cream bronzer, and again, it was one from Salt New York. I loved it. I have the shade Light, but it is very, very satisfying to have an empty bronzer. And thinking about my goals, I can't remember if I wanted to finish 1 or 2 bronzers last year, but you know, finishing 1, I'm counting that as a win for me. And I only finished one gloss. That is so wild to me. Gloss used to be, I think, my #1 product that I went through, but I have slowly been experiencing a change in my preferences. I don't always want super glossy lips all the time. So I haven't been finishing glosses quickly, but this is one I really wanted to finish because I loved it so much. I love the formula. This is from Rare Beauty, and this gloss is in the shade Nearly Apricot. This was a delight. All of the rest of my makeup empties are mascaras, and There's 14 of them. I do open a new mascara every month for my mascara review series. So yeah, I do recognize that is a ridiculous amount of mascara that I'm going through. Also, I'm not using each mascara until they are completely dried out and empty. I retire them after 6 months. I think it might be the only makeup product besides sunscreen where I pay very close attention to how long I've had it open. I actually keep a note on my phone and I note down when I open a mascara. Eye health is important. There were some really good mascaras in here. Here are some favorites. This is the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water mascara. Adore. I had a mini of the Tower 28. This is my favorite non-tubing mascara. I had a mini of the Tartelette XL, one of the best tubing mascaras out there. And last year I also tried the Lancome Lash Idole mascara. For me, this is one of those mascaras that lives up to the hype. I think it is beautiful, but overpriced. So I would get it again, just on sale. Okay, so those were all the makeup empties I had last year. Let's talk about the things I want to finish this year. One thing I was very surprised not to see in my makeup empties were lip balms. I do count those in my makeup stash, but it's because I was working on this all last year. Look, I'm almost done with it. This was almost an empty for 2025. This will probably be one of my first ones for 2026, but this is one of the balm.coms from Glossier. This is the mango flavored one, and I am almost done with it. But after I finish that one, I'm gonna move on to another one. This is pretty old in my stash. This is actually the original formula before they discontinued it and then brought it back. So that'll tell you how old that is. But this is the Rose balm.com. And this will probably take me the majority of the year, if not all year. For sunscreen, I'm gonna focus on two. This one is from Japan. This is the Skin Aqua Super Gel, Super Moisture UV Gel. Oh, this is also Japanese as well. I thought it was K-Beauty, but this is Japanese. This is called the Kiss Me Mommy UV Aqua Milk. They're both SPF 50 and I really like both of them. I don't think it'll be a problem to finish them. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to actually finish this concealer, but I'm gonna give it a try. This is the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. I just struggle with this because the little pump on top, initially when I tried it, it seems so very sanitary, you know, you're not dipping a wand in and then putting on your face, but a lot comes out and I feel like I am wasting a lot of product. And I had some really great suggestions in my past video where I mentioned that I had one lady even tell me that she will actually pump it into like an old contact lens case so that she doesn't waste a single drop of this. I admit I'm probably not going to be that careful. Technically, this is past its date. It only says 6 months on it. That's interesting. But this is going to be the concealer I target this year. I have the shade Light. Foundation, I'm going to stick with my 2 a year goal. And the two that I want to finish, I'm just gonna have a great year. These are both favorites. First, we have a discontinued product. This is the Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation. I went ahead and marked it on the side because I'm already about halfway through this, which is good. This is getting close to 3 years old in my collection. I am wearing it today. I love this stuff. And it will be a very sad day when I finish it, but I also want to use every drop because it was expensive and I can't get it again. And if you guys have been here since my panning days, you've already seen me use this up before, but this is another one that I am going to have to finish because it's getting old. This is the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body, and this is the shade N1. Oh, I'm annoyed with myself. I thought I marked this as well. I didn't, but it's also probably about here. This is one of those foundations that has more than the usual ounce. This is 1.7 fluid ounces. So this one does take me a little bit to finish. Yeah, this one's 30 mils. This is the normal size for a foundation. But in any case, I'm going to enjoy using both of those foundations very much. And in the case of finishing this one, I will instantly buy another one. This one is a staple in my collection. Ooh, I forgot to mention the primer that I want to finish. So this is technically an eye base. This is from Bobbi Brown. This is the Vitamin Enriched Eye Base. Especially in this winter, I've been just using it as a primer. I don't use very much. It's very thick. And I have had a couple of days where my skin was breaking out a little bit, and I think it's because I applied this too heavy. So I need to be careful with how I use it. But it is a very luxurious product, and I just want to make myself use it. It's one of those that's been sitting around because I think it's too nice to use, and I'm trying to get out of that mindset. Let myself use my nice things. Oh, here's kind of a boring product. I didn't finish any eyebrow products last year, which is both a surprise and isn't. It just takes me a really, really long time to finish a product. Well, this year, since I was using this one all last year, I should be able to finish this one. This is from Billion Dollar Brows. This is the Tinted Brow Gel in Taupe. I'm going to make a goal of finishing a bronzer, and it's gonna be a favorite. This is another one that when I finish it, I'm gonna buy another one. And the only reason I'm targeting it is because it's getting older in my stash. This is from Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and I have the shade Light. Look at that beautiful big old pan in there already. This does not have a lot of product in it, kind of like the Salt New York. This one has 5 grams. I'm confident I can finish it as long as I don't get sidetracked testing a bunch of new bronzers, kind of like I did this past year. Finishing a bronzer like this, even though it's not a big product, it's a really big deal to me because I'm so light-handed. So it takes me a long time to finish colored cosmetics like this, but I think I can easily do that this year. Here's a product I had in a project pan ages ago, and I made myself quit because I didn't want to finish it because I loved it so much. Well, this is just a mini of a Laura Mercier eye stick. This is the shade Au Naturel. And look, there's a tiny little bit left in there. And I've been just using it so sparingly because I didn't want to finish it. Well, they actually had a sale on these at Ulta. I didn't think these ever went on sale. Well, they did. They went on sale and I got a full size of this finally. So now I'm gonna let myself finish this little one. It's a very everyday shade for me. So while these little sticks do surprisingly last longer than you'd expect, I do think I can finish it this year. Now we come to lips. Here are 2 products that shouldn't be a surprise. I talk about them in pretty much every Shop My Stash. I would like to finish 2 glosses this year. One's lip oil, one's an actual gloss. From Merit, we have the tinted lip oil in the shade Au Naturel. Very comfortable, beautiful, warm tone, which I love that shade for some reason. I'm very, very drawn to shades like that. And then from L'Oreal, this is the shade 120 Rose Harmony in the Balm in Gloss formula. And that is that shade. So I have like a cool one and a warm one. So depending on my makeup, I'll be wearing one of these all year till they're finished. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how far along I am, but I feel like I'm at least halfway done with this L'Oreal gloss. And as for the Merit, after trying to scrape the sides, I do see a little bit of windowing. I'm probably about halfway done with this one as well, which that's really cool to see. I'm targeting them because they're favorites. I know they don't bother my lips, and I know that I probably won't get tired of those since I like them so much. I was very conflicted if I wanted to add lipsticks this year. I have panned lipsticks in the past, and it usually turns into such a bummer. I have a decently large lip product collection, and when I'm panning a lipstick, I do tend to get a little bit obsessive, and then I don't wear the rest of my stuff. So that's why I haven't been panning lipsticks lately. However, I do have a couple that are getting pretty old and they're shades I really like. So while I don't know if I'm technically gonna pan these, I might just leave these out on my vanity to use all the time. The first one's from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the classic Pillow Talk shade. I think this is my oldest lipstick. I hesitate to want to pan it though because it is matte, and I just don't wear matte lip products all that often. But this color really works for me. It's a really good everyday shade. And then the other one, oh, I really hesitate to want to finish it because it's been discontinued for a while. This is from NARS. This is the Dolce Vita sheer lipstick, and this is one of those things where even if I do finish most of it, I'll probably keep a little bit like in there so that I can test it against other shades because I'm always looking for a dupe. Things come close, but things are never exactly the same. It's got a little bit of that cool toned purpliness going, but it's perfectly sheer, but it's not too glossy. And it's not sticky. I think this might be the start of like my tinted lip balm lipstick sort of product obsession. I love this so much. So again, not fully planning on panning, but it's on my mind as an old product that I really would like to use before it goes bad. Okay, those are all the products that for sure I'm gonna focus on in the next year. How about you? Are you doing any project panning this year? What are your goals? If so, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on my channel. This is always where I like to share my tea of the day. Today I am drinking Twinings Earl Grey. I almost always drink Bigelow Earl Grey. I thought I would do something different. I picked this up at Target, and I've been trying to determine what the difference is. I feel like Bigelow is sharper. Twinings is a bit more mild. Anyway, I hope that you're all having a wonderful day. I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye.